Hello students, hope you all enjoying your holidays, doing well in studies also. So today we'll study about the topic clauses, that is the topic of your annual exam syllabus. So we'll start today clauses. So what is clauses? What is clause? Clause is a group of words. Clause is a group of words. But the group of words that contains a subject and a predicate, especially it contains a finite verb. What? It contains a finite verb. So ma'am, you told me that you told us that phrases is also a group of words, right? So what is the difference between clauses and phrases? Actually, the main difference between the clauses and the phrases is clauses contains subject and finite verb, but phrases do not contain finite verb. That is the main difference between phrases and clauses. Okay. So today what? Clauses, a group of words that contains a subject and a finite verb are called clauses, and I think you are now clear about that what are clauses, what are phrases. Phrases is what? What phrases? Phrases are also group of words, but it doesn't contain what? But it doesn't contain finite verb. Actually, phrases contains infinite verbs. Means infinite verbs means what? That are gerund, participle and infinitive. Okay. So phrases are also group of words, but it does not contain finite verbs. That is the main difference between clauses and phrases. Okay. So now today we learn about clauses. So focus on clauses. Man, he told us that clauses contain finite verbs and phrases do not contain finite verbs. So what is this finite verb? What is this finite verb? Okay. So finite verbs. Okay. We'll study about what? Finite verb. What is finite verb? Finite verb is a verb that is totally controlled by the subject and the tenses. What? Finite verbs. Finite verbs are the verbs that is totally controlled by the subject and the tense. How it is controlled by the subject and the tense? Here, see the example that you can see here. I am happy, she is happy, they are happy. Means you can see the verbs are changed in each and every sentences. Right? Am in first sentence, that is am. In the second sentence, that is. And the third sentence, that is are. That is changed according to the subject, is are. Right? So, if the subject is plural, we use are. If the subject is singular, we use is. And I, with I, we use am. And ma'am, you told us that the finite verbs is controlled by the tense also. How it is controlled by the tense? So, she writes a letter and she wrote a letter. You can see. She writes a letter. This one is a sentence, and again she wrote. Okay. So here you can see she writes a letter, she wrote a letter. This verb write shows that it is a sentence of simple present tense. shows that it is a sentence of past tense. So you can see this verb is controlled by the tense. Now that's why it is a finite. Here this is a finite. What is it? It is a finite. Hope you are all are clear about the finite. What is finite verb? You got it. Okay. So now come to the next. What is we'll again discuss about the clauses. We were discussing about the clauses. So hope you all got that what is the main difference between the clauses and the phrases. I think you will be able to identify that what is clause, what is phrase. Okay. So now what is the next? Clauses. Clauses are mainly of two types. That is what of two types. Okay. So main clause. First one is main clause. What is main clause? What is the main clause? Actually, the main clause is a clause that is not dependent on the other part of the sentence or on the other group of the sentence to complete its meaning. Got it? Main clause is the clause that is not dependent. That is not dependent on the other part of the sentence or any other group of the words to complete its meaning. It stands alone to complete its meaning. It gives it complete meaning always. That's why it is called known as main clause. And there is two other names also of main clause. What are the names? That two names are, the main clause is also known as principal clause, and the second name of the main clause is independent clause. Okay, so main clause is also known as principal clause and independent clause. Okay, now see with the example. This is one. See this sentence. In this sentence, you can see this is the subject, and this one is the predicate. Okay. So this is a clause, and it is a main clause actually. What is it? It is a main clause. Okay. It is not dependent to complete its meaning on any other group of words or any other sentence. It's giving complete meaning. That's why it is known as main clause. Okay. So now the other part we'll discuss what is that. That is the subordinate clause. What is subordinate clause or what is dependent clause? It is also known as dependent clause. So what is dependent clause? Actually, dependent clause is a clause that never gives complete meaning. Means to complete its meaning, it is dependent on the other part of the sentence to complete its meaning. So here, dependent clause is the clause that is what? A clause that is a part of the sentence. Clause is always a part of the sentence, but cannot stand on its own. Means it never gives its complete meaning on its own. It never stands alone. Okay? That's why it is known as subordinate clause or dependent clause. Okay? So we'll see with the example. Like example is, take a look at the picture. Which is on the wall. Take a look at the picture which is on the wall. Here you can see this part. Take a look at the picture. एक बार वो दीवार उस पिक्चर को देखो and which is on the wall जो दीवार पर है. पिक्चर को देखो टेक अ लुक, एक झलक उस पिक्चर को देखो, ये कंप्लीट मीनिंग है. टेक अ लुक एट द पिक्चर, इट्स गिविंग कंप्लीट मीनिंग. विच इज ऑन द वॉल, जो दीवार पर है. दिस इज नॉट गिविंग अ कंप्लीट मीनिंग ना. इट इज डिपेंडेंट to complete its meaning on the other part of the sentence. That's why this take a look at the picture is giving its complete meaning. That's why this half part is known as main clause. Okay, and the other half part, that is जो दीवार पर है, which is on the wall. ना ये सुनकर के ऐसा नहीं लग रहा है कि it is incomplete. It is not giving its complete meaning. That's why it is known as dependent clause. That's why it is known as dependent clause, or what is the second name of it? Subordinate clause. That's why it is known as dependent clause or subordinate clause. Okay, so which part is dependent to complete its meaning on the other part, that is known as subordinate clause or dependent clause. Okay, so this was about with the second example. You can see also the statue that he made was in marble. Okay, the statue that he made was in marble. The statue in here you can see that the statue in marble is giving its complete meaning on its own alone. That's why it is a main clause. It is a main clause. But here you can see what that he made. That he made. It's not giving. It is dependent to complete its meaning on the other part of the sentence. That's why it is a what? It is a subordinate. Or you can say dependent clause. So this was all about what is clauses, what are phrases, and what is the difference between clause and phrase, and how many type of there in of clauses. So there are mainly two type of clauses, that is main clause and subordinate or dependent clause. So come to the next. Sorry. Write with it. Here is a question of your book. Even I have taken it from your book. So from your grammar book, question number 8. Okay. So write whether the group of words italicized the following and the following sentences are phrases or clauses. Okay. So we have to identify actually that where is it a phrase or a clause. Okay. So focus on the italicized words. That Jack built. That Jack built. Here you can see Jack is a subject, right? And built is a verb. It means it is fulfilling both conditions to be a phrase. Clause. So clause होने के लिए हमारी दोनों conditions ही fulfill कर रहा है. Means here is a subject also and finite verb is also. So it is a clause. What is it? It is a clause. It has, you can see, it is the italicized word. It has subject and verb. Both are present in here. That's why it is a clause. In the next sentence, to the end of the road. Can you find out that here any subject or any verb? No? To the end of the road. Just focus on the question. We have to focus only italicized. Okay? Only the words, group of words that are italicized. So italicized group of words is to the end of the road. Here is no subject. Here is no verb. That's why it is a what? It is a phrase. Okay? It is a phrase. Now in the next sentence, when he heard a bang. When he heard. He क्या है? He is a subject and third is a verb. Means again it is fulfilling the condition to be a clause. That's why it is what? It is clause. It is a clause. Okay. Now the next one. This picture is made with pencil savvy. With pencil savvy. Okay. With pencil savvy, can you find out any subject or any verb here? With pencil savvy, what? With pencil savvy. Nothing. Okay. So this is also group of words giving some meaning, but actually because of it, it is not containing any subject. It is not containing a verb. That's why it is a phrase. What is it? It is a phrase. Now, where I must go. Italicized word are where I must go. So where I is a subject. Here desire is a subject and go is a verb. It is verb. Okay. That's why again it is fulfilling the conditions to be a what? To be a clause. Again it is a clause. Okay. So all the children, no finite form. Okay. And what? The teacher gave all the children. It is object, not a subject. Okay. In the sentence, don't be confused that it is a subject, ma'am. So the teacher gave all the children. Again, it don't have any subject or a verb. That's why it is again a phrase. What is it? It is a phrase. Again, in the basket. What is in the basket? In the basket, कुछ तो होगा in the basket में है. In the basket. Again, in the group of italicized word, there is no subject, no object, no verb. That's why it is again. क्या होगा ये? What is it? It is a phrase. Okay. And the last one, when the guard saw them. In this sentence, when the guard saw them. When the guard is a subject and saw means it is a verb. Again it is fulfilling the condition to be a clause. That's why it is a what? It is a clause. So this way we can identify that the given italicized group of words in the sentence are clauses or the cases. Okay. So this was all about the class. Hope you enjoyed the class. You got the topics, and we'll meet again. Okay. We'll do further studies. Bye.